Good Tuesday afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Weather with Sim again. I hope you guys are all having a great day so far. And in today's weather forecast, we are going to be going over what we can expect by the time we head into Thanksgiving, which we are still tracking a potential snowstorm that could be around, which could impact parts of the Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, Mid-Atlantic, but the area that we're especially concerned about is parts of New England. So we will watch it very closely, as that could, definitely cause some Thanksgiving interruptions, and of course we'll even be tracking some severe weather with this system too as well, especially areas in the deep south. So like I said, we will definitely watch all that closely, so make sure to stay tuned till the end so that way you guys know about what to expect by the time we head into Thanksgiving, and even as we head into December, because we are also tracking an Arctic blast that is still looking to roll on through. So make sure to subscribe for all that, as we will continue to keep you guys updated with the latest. Don't forget to leave a like too as well. Those help out the channel a lot, and of course they help out more than you know, so don't forget to like if you haven't already. And of course, leave any questions, comments, or concerns that you guys have down below. You guys can leave anything down below, as long as it's respectful, and I will get to those right after today's weather forecast. But let's first go ahead and take a look at what we can expect with this Thanksgiving storm. We're first going to be starting off severe weather, because this is probably going to be the most concerning part of the Thanksgiving storm that's going to be rolling through. And as you guys can see, for tomorrow, we do have a marginal risk for severe weather, which, even though the storm will be, impacting the deep south on Thanksgiving, we still expect some impacts to occur even as we head into tomorrow. And not only do we have a marginal risk, but look at that, we actually have a pretty big area that could see a few spin up tornadoes, as we do have a low 2% risk for tornadoes. So it's obviously not zero, so we still got to be watching that area closely, but chances of tornadoes will be pretty low tomorrow, so we'll keep an eye on it closely, at least be watching for a couple of tornadoes, as we could definitely see a few of them spin up. We could also even see some isolated damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour across that area, including central Alabama and Mississippi, and same with some large hail too as well. We could definitely see some isolated large hail up to 1 inch in diameter, so make sure to be watching very closely. I would be prepared for tomorrow if I were you, so that way we definitely can keep you guys safe. And of course I would even be prepared for all hazards, as all of them, like I said, aren't zero, so that's one of the reasons why we still take marginal risks a little bit seriously sometimes, just in case. But thankfully the threat isn't looking too significant as of right now, so like I said, we'll keep an eye on it tomorrow, but thankfully not anything too crazy. The day that we are going to be watching even more is as we head into Thanksgiving, and as you guys can see on Thanksgiving, a lot of that is going to continue to shift off to the south and east. So all that thunderstorm activity that occurred right here is going to continue to move towards the east, but some of those same areas could definitely have another shot of seeing some isolated severe weather as we head into Thanksgiving. And they haven't issued the hazards yet, but I do think they will be pretty similar as what we're expecting tomorrow, with that risk for large hail, damaging winds, and once again a low, but still can't rule out a low chance for a few tornadoes tomorrow. So we'll be watching it very closely tomorrow. Still a little uncertain on what exactly we'll see, but like I said, my current thinking is all hazards like we're expecting tomorrow. So once again, I would definitely start getting a little bit prepared, just in case we do see some impacts on Thanksgiving. So like I said, we'll keep an eye on it closely, but it still kind of is a little uncertain on how exactly it will play out and what hazards we'll have to worry about on Thanksgiving. But from what we also know so far, like I said, some storms are going to currently be ongoing across this entire area right here by the time we head into Thanksgiving. And these little isolated supercells that you see, those will be the most capable of spinning up an isolated tornado or two. So some damaging winds and maybe even some large hail. We'll have to see how strong they get, and this will be tomorrow and into Thanksgiving. So make sure to be watching both tomorrow and as well as Thanksgiving very closely, as we could once again see those little pop-up supercells, and some of them could be capable of producing some isolated severe weather. So once again, not really seeing anything too significant, but definitely enough to where I would be watching closely if I were you. Now, let's go ahead and look at what's going on across the United States. And, one thing that we have going on is some mountain snowfall across the west. The Utah mountains, Colorado mountains, and even into a little bit there in New Mexico currently dealing with, some winter weather. So we will be watching those areas very closely as we head into the next few days. So if you are going to be driving out here to the west, definitely use caution whenever driving on roadways. And same across the Sierra Nevadas. That's another area we'll be tracking. We also do have some wind advisories across those areas, so some of those areas could definitely be a little bit, more dangerous compared to what we're expecting out here, and that's mainly due to that wind, not necessarily the snow accumulation that we're expecting, but more because of the wind. So you should probably even use more caution if you're going to be traveling through the Sierra Nevadas, but once again, still use caution if you're going to be traveling anywhere out here to the west, especially in the higher elevations. And then we'll also be watching places like New England closely for some snow potential, as we do have that potential for lake effect snowfall as we head into Thanksgiving. Now, this is what that storm system is going to look like as we head into Thanksgiving, and once again, we're going to be watching this entire area right here closely for some potential severe weather. And I know this model isn't showing isolated supercells, but the models that we did take a look at a few seconds ago did point out those supercells. So even though this is what it's pointing out, we still, like I said, will need to be watching for some isolated severe weather. It's especially going to be this area far to the north that we're also going to be watching closely to as well. Places like the northern Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, and the northeast will be an area to really be watching for as we head into Thanksgiving, as once again some Thanksgiving travel delays could be possible, especially if you do live in the higher elevations or Appalachian Mountains. So you should definitely be watching that very closely. And then after Thanksgiving, and as we get into the weekend, we got another storm system that we'll have to keep an eye on by the time we head into later this week and the beginning of December, which will pretty much be this weekend. And as you guys can see, starting off with the GFS model this weekend, the GFS model is pointing out a little bit of snow potential across the lower Ohio Valley. And just to show you guys how concerned we are about the system, the icon model shows this. This does show it a little bit far to the north, but still shows quite a bit of snowfall there across Indiana, Illinois, Kentucky, into parts there, Missouri. And if you're wondering how this is coming down here, this is pretty much going to be coming like this, and that's mainly due to how the jet stream is shaped up, because if you're wondering what it will look like, it will pretty much look like this. So like I said, some of these are pretty much going to be riding down this jet stream into the lower Ohio Valley, and that will allow for a lot of that cold air to surge on down, and that's exactly why we are seeing that potential for both snowfall and frigid air that's going to be rolling on down. So that's exactly what we're expecting by the time we head into this weekend. And even the CMC model shows it a little bit far down to the south, but still enough to where we will be concerned about some snowfall there. And same with the European model, still once again shows some pretty good snowfall across that area. So that does tell us that we have extremely good model agreement on this little band of snowfall coming in from Canada and moving down to the south and east, impacting the lower Ohio Valley, as this jet stream will pretty much be shaped like this. So make sure to be watching out for maybe a little bit of travel impacts across this area right here by the time we head into the weekend, as a little bit of accumulation is certainly possible. Let's now go ahead and take a look at this Arctic blast for a few minutes. And as you guys can see, we are going to be watching much of the eastern United States for for some very chilly conditions, as a lot of that cold air is going to continue to head south and southeast, with even above normal temperatures expected out here in the west. Now that obviously means we won't see snowfall. That just means that, you know, it's going to be a little bit warmer than what it usually is. So, you know, for the higher elevations, you guys could still see some snowfall by the time we get into December, but, you know, the lower elevations probably won't really see any, especially if we're seeing warmer than normal temperatures. And, you know, we still can't rule out some snowfall, even as we are seeing that risk for below average precipitation. So, you know, once again, even though we're seeing both above average temperatures and below average precipitation, a little bit of elevation snowfall cannot be ruled out. So I still want you guys to keep that in mind if you do live across the higher elevations, as we will more than likely see well below average precipitation across you know, parts there, Colorado, Utah, Nevada, California. So, you know, like I said, a little bit of mountain snow can't be rolled out as we get into December, but you guys, you know, probably won't have to worry as much about it, thankfully. It's really going to be the northern United States, and as well as down there towards Texas, where we'll likely see some precipitation, and we'll keep an eye on that by the time we get into December. And then let's now go ahead and kind of take a look at what this Arctic blast will look like. And we'll pretty much be watching this entire area that I just circled right there for a lot of cold air to surge on in, as it will likely move to the south and southeast, bringing well below average temperatures across the east. And once again, we are going to be seeing above normal temperatures across much of the west. 'Cause like I said, guys, a little bit of higher elevation snow cannot be rolled out, and you guys can kind of tell because some below average temperatures are even mixing in, but like I said, those are mainly for the higher elevations. So we'll keep an eye on this area very closely for those warmer than normal conditions, especially if you do live closer to sea level. So once again, we'll definitely keep an eye on that closely. Let's now go ahead and look at the total rainfall. We're not going to look super far out, but we are going to look far enough out to where, you know, we might, you know, need to be watching closely. And this is anywhere from now all the way to December 2nd. And as you guys can see, much of the east is likely to see some precipitation, whether it's snow or rain, so we'll keep an eye on that closely. And then for snowfall, this is the, you know, thing that we're more concerned about, which we are still expecting a ton of mountain snow, like I said, across much of these areas, including parts there, the Sierra Nevadas, Colorado, and Utah area. But look at this. Like I said, when we were looking at that small band of snow showers that's expected to move through the Ohio Valley, it's pretty much going to start right here, continue to roll on down towards lower Ohio Valley, and then probably head out to sea. New England is expected to see snowfall from that Thanksgiving storm that we just talked about, but even down here, like I said, towards the lower Ohio Valley, we will be watching that area closely, as some accumulation is possible, and the small wants to show anywhere from 1 to 2 inches across a lot of this area. But even some isolated higher totals, especially across northeast Kansas, cannot be rolled out, so make sure you are watching for some travel impacts across this entire area, including the lower Ohio Valley. But thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy today's weather forecast. If you guys are new here to the YouTube channel, or if you guys would like to stay up to date on Weather with Sim, make sure to go down below and click that subscribe button, as we will continue to keep you guys updated with the latest. Don't forget to leave a like too as well. Those help out more than you know, and of course they really help the channel out a lot, so make sure to leave a like if you haven't already. And of course, leave any questions, comments, or concerns that you guys have down below. You guys can leave anything down below, as long as it's respectful, and I will get to those right after today's weather forecast. And I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day, and I hope you guys all have a safe Thanksgiving out there, as things could get a little bit on the extreme side of things.